What's up, Legacy Builders? I'm Rob.
I'm Reshawn, and this is Learn, Hustle, Grow. We help you build wealth and explore entrepreneurship so that you can leave a legacy.
She's a travel agent.
He's a realtor.
And we are debt-free entrepreneurs.
When it comes to pursuing financial independence or financial freedom, there's a lot of rah about maxing out your 401k.
Maxing out your 401k is a great idea until it's not.
One of the reasons I found it not beneficial to max out the 401k is because the employer schedule may not be in lockstep with your max. At my last employer, it actually turned out that they were on a match schedule for the full year. So their plan was to match my contribution every pay period. So what that meant was if I so happened to max out my 401k, let's say in July because I had some fantastic bonuses, they would no longer continue to match for the rest of the year.
So it doesn't automatically just match like the full year. It matches based on like income level, you're saying?
No, it actually matches based on the employer schedule.
Oh, okay.
So you can max out at any time if you're a high income earner, but the employer is going to match per pay period. And if that's the case and you max out early, you could actually miss the rest of the match for the remaining year.
Wow, so you're losing money.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay.
So the tip there is to know your employer's match schedule.
Another reason why you might not want to max out your 401k is because you might have other goals, right? Like purchasing a house or an investment property. You know, you're going to need to save for those things to get the down payment if you don't have the income level to cover all of that easily, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the important thing to remember is that the 401k is not a piggy bank.
Yes.
You cannot access that money until you're 59 and a half.
Yeah, and that's the drawback to a 401k. I would love to be able to like invest or whatever and pull that when I need it, you know, based on where I am, you know, my goals, but you can't. So got to remember you'll be locked in until that 59 and a half if you're putting it in the 401k.
And we just mentioned buying a home and investing in real estate, but what about those people who want to start a business?
Yes.
If entrepreneurship is your goal, it does take money to get started.
Right. So if you're starting a business to get income, like passive income now, like as we talk about this all the time, we want money now, right? And we don't want to burn our 401k, but at the same time, we want to have cash flow coming in right now until we get up to that level or, you know, that age. And then we can start pulling that. And then, man, we'll be making more, you know, now than right now, right? So got to figure out how to get that money on the front end.
Right. And I'll just say, you notice we didn't mention saving for college.
Right.
Our personal opinion is that retirement comes before college.
Absolutely.
You can actually find alternative ways to fund a kid's college, like investing in a rental property and then using that property's income to pay for college later.
That's a fantastic idea.
Right?
I heard of a guy who did, every time he had a kid, and he had like 3 kids, he bought an investment property for each one, and then he had the cash flow going into a savings for their college fund and then paying their college expenses once they were able to go to college, right?
Right. Or you could even just pull the equity out of that property and use that to fund college. Either way, there are alternatives for college that may not be available to you from the perspective of retirement.
Right.
And so we always say that retirement comes before funding a college education.
Indeed.
If any of the previously mentioned goals are a priority, just remember they require separate savings.
Hey, while we're thinking about it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
We don't want you to miss any future videos.
The next reason why you should not max out your 401k is if you have high interest debt.
Yes, sir. If it turns out that your credit card interest is 25% and you're not earning that in your 401k or retirement account, it doesn't really make sense to put the money towards the 401k at this time.
Yeah, if you're losing money instead of making money. So you might as well go ahead and just pay the, you know, high interest debt off, right?
Yeah,
so
paying that high interest debt is actually a way to give yourself a raise.
Yep. I know I felt relieved the day I paid off my credit card debt.
Yes, I can agree. Not having credit card debt has been an opportunity for us to do so many other things with that money.
Listen, we're not saying not to contribute to your 401k. We're just saying that you should put an intense focus on paying off your credit cards before you max out your 401k.
That's absolutely right. Check out our video on the topic of paying off debt and investing. Yet another reason not to max out your 401k is having adequate cash on hand in case of an emergency.
Yes.
I mean, what happens if you lose your job?
Yep. If you lose your job, if you get sick, some people think, oh, I'll never lose my job. I'm so secure, but things happen. Layoffs happen, and accidents happen. Any of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at the U.S. government as an example. In January of 2019, the government shutdown caused 800,000 people to go without paychecks.
That sucks. So, were you ready? If that would have happened to you, would you be ready? Will we be ready?
Even if they are the most reliable employer in the world, you have to have an emergency fund just to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's what's really funny. They say that the U.S. government is the #1 most reliable employer in the U.S., right? So how ironic.
The last thing you want is to be stressed out about whether or not you can pay your mortgage, car note, or even cover the all necessary utility bills.
Yep. They say the general rule is 3 to 6 months of emergency cash on hand, right? And I mean, how do you know what you need between 3 to 6 months? It depends on your bills, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's really what gives you the most peace of mind. Do you feel good about being able to find a job in 3 months? If you think it might take longer, go for the 6 months.
And if you can cover that stuff, if you have low expenses, then you can cover it pretty easy. Then you got a little more time and you need less money. So,
do you have an emergency fund? How did you decide? Are you doing 3 or 6 months? Comment below. We want to hear from you.
Yeah. The final reason why we think you shouldn't max out your 401k is if your 401k doesn't have many options.
You have researched the options available to you and you find that it has a ridiculous amount of fees and the returns are below average. In short, they suck.
Yes.
In this case, you need to consider other ways to invest your money for retirement until you're in a place where your 401k is improved.
Exactly. If you decide not to max out your 401k, do you have the discipline to set that money aside? That is the question.
Absolutely. Will you save the money for the decided purpose or will you spend it?
Remember, out of sight, out of mind. Take the money off top.
And the best way to do this is to actually split your direct deposit. Go ahead and assign the money that you need to save to a separate savings account.
Yep. We have accounts for everything. Vacation, 401k, savings, whatever. That way, out of sight, out of mind. You want to avoid accessing your 401k early because there's a 10% penalty if you decide not to pay that back.
Yeah, and he says decide not to pay that back because there is actually an opportunity for you to borrow against your 401k and take a loan. And if you decide to do that, there is an interest rate assigned to it.
Not recommended.
Either way, you are actually paying. You're paying either an interest or you're paying a penalty.
So now that we're in 2020, the maximum amount that you can contribute to your 401k is $19,500 a year.
Yeah, and that is your individual contribution. That does not include your employer match.
Yeah, I didn't know that for a long time. I thought, I was spreading across wrong, right? But you get that match too, and that's gonna really beat that up, right?
That's a $500 increase over 2019.
Yep. And if you are 50 or older, you can make a catch-up contribution.
That's right. We might need to go back to a corporation just so that we can get that extra $6,500 a year once we turn 50.
No gracias.
That means workers 50 and over can actually save up to $26,000 in their 401k in 2020.
Oh yeah. Get that money.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
Nope. So, are you maxing out your 401k? Why or why not? What do you think about what we said here? Tell us what you do. Comment below.
See you in the next video.